Hello, thank you everyone for showing up here for our early voting and anti-austerity rally here at the First United Methodist Church. We have some great speakers here today who are going to talk to you about the importance of voting. And voting is important for so many reasons, especially when it comes to those of us in public education. Public education is constantly under attack through charter schools. For us in higher education, it's under attack through slow privatization of our institutions and our university presidents deciding to prioritize the size of their endowments over the health and safety of their students. So Meredith is going to start us off by talking about that. This is Meredith Miska. She's my co-president at UFGAU. She's an amazing activist, and she's been helping steer us through these COVID and economic uncertain times. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. So this is my first term as this is my first term as co-president of Graduate Assistants United, and I have to say, what a term it has been. As outrageous as this year has been, I can honestly say that I would be lying if I said I did not love to learn on the fly. So I got my introduction to the union through the Organizing Fellows program. This allowed me the opportunity to speak with our members and our allies, hear their concerns, and give them a little nudge towards an action for the union if need be. This duty to listen is only amplified as a co-president. I have heard about parents living in graduate student housing who are worried their children may have been exposed to COVID-19 because the neighboring apartments around them are being used to quarantine people who have been exposed to the virus. This convenient quarantine space is not a happy coincidence. It is there because the university intends to limit the number of apartments they lease each semester until the building is empty and able to be demolished and eventually be replaced by practice fields. This is all part of a larger scheme to gentrify the areas around our campus and make it nearly impossible for the hardworking people in our community to find an affordable place to live. Not only is UF adding to the affordable housing crisis that we face in Gainesville, they have also instituted a new furlough policy that directly targets their most vulnerable workers, those who are not protected by the union. These are not the actions of an institution who wants their students and their workforce to succeed. These are the actions of a business who has nothing but their eyes on their bottom line. We stand up to this by voting, and today we vote for the working class. I hear stories from Black students and Black graduate assistants who have yet to be truly heard by university administrators. Administrators who have done little to nothing to make sure Black students feel welcome and safe on our campus. It seems UF is more concerned with ignoring their shameful past than learning from it, or, God forbid, spending precious endowment money to hire experts to address it. I have also spoken with international graduate assistants whose future at our university is in a constant state of limbo, because our country is fueled by the bigotry of those who are too proud to admit that they fear what they will not take the time to understand. We stand up for this by voting today, and today we fight for justice. Finally, while speaking to incoming graduate assistants about our union, one GA spoke of concerns that possibly teaching in person for the fall semester. They were not concerned for their own health, but they were concerned for the health of an immunocompromised loved one at home. Now I am certain that this current concern is shared among so many more of our members as we think ahead to the spring semester, with UF administration insisting that we teach face-to-face in order to keep our jobs secure. Who gave UF permission to make us choose between our health and our jobs, our lives or our livelihoods? I stand up today by voting, and I ask that you vote with me. Vote for public education. Vote for the working class. Vote for justice. Vote for health's sake. Woo!
All right, thank you very much, Meredith. Our next speaker is leading the fight for us in Washington, D.C. Against the attacks on public education and public goods in the United States. And for social and economic justice, I give you former civics teacher and American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten.
Thank you. And thank you for that amazing speech. And thank you for us being on the grounds of a church, a Methodist church that understands that that in unity there is strength, that we actually take care of those who are the most vulnerable. That is what we represent. That is who FEA is. That is who NEA is. That is who the AFT is. And that is why we are engaged as much as we possibly and humanly can in this election. You see the bus that's here. We talk about caring, fighting, showing up, and voting. But what is it for? It's to make sure that every single person in America has the right to health care, is not concerned that COVID or cancer or diabetes is going to be one illness away from death or sickness, that they will have the right to be protected. It's to make sure that every parent and every student knows that they have the right to a great public education, pre-K through higher education, and that this nonsense of trying to wrestle with austerity versus safety versus learning, that is something that somebody else can talk about in the halls of corporate America, but not in the halls of the state houses or of the Capitol. It is ridiculous that we say that our kids are our future and then we don't pay attention to that. And the same is true in terms of climate, and the same is true in terms of workers, and the same is true in terms of racism. The same is true in terms of our democracy. What I'm saying right now is so much is on the ballot. Democracy's on the ballot. Healthcare is on the ballot. Climate's on the ballot. Public education's on the ballot. Workers' dignity and rights are on the ballot. People's dignity and rights are on the ballot. And ultimately, the choice of whether we let COVID defeat us and surrender to it and pretend that it doesn't exist and put all these people into harm's way, as this governor and others have done, or whether we actually fight COVID, get our democracy back, get our lives back, and make sure that we can be in school and be with our kids, but be safe and healthy. All of these things are on the ballot. So if I sound urgent in the rain, I am, because we need to vote like our lives depend on it, because they do.
It gave me goosebumps. Thank you. All right. So the next speaker is a champion of public education, a champion of healthcare access, especially for our most vulnerable citizens, and a champion for economic opportunity. I give you UF Shands anesthesiologist and candidate for House District 21 here in Florida, Dr. Kaiser Inneking.
Thank you, Bobby. And I don't know if I really want to go after that, because I think God answered you with the rain. but such an inspired talk. What I'd really like to talk about today is leadership. Leadership is what happens when you have to make hard decisions. Leadership is what happens when you have to look to your North Star about what it is that's the right thing to do to make sure that the people that are coming behind you, the people that are depending on you, are really going down the right path. And what we have seen in this country and in this state has not been leadership, by definition. Because leaders are transparent. Leaders are honest. Leaders put the good of their community in front of the good of their pocketbook. And truly, what leadership is about is making sure that decisions are made for our communities, for the health of our communities. And this is, I got it, we're good. And this is,
That's why she's running
very independent here. But this is really what this election is about. It's about what kind of leaders do we want to have? Do we want people that support our teachers, that support our communities, that support the least among us? Do we want leaders who are looking out for the broader good of our country and our communities? We have not seen that kind of leadership in quite some time. And so the way we get leaders like that is we vote. Voting is power. It is raw power that each one of us possesses. And we really can change the trajectory of our country, of our state, and our communities. But we can only do it when we all vote and when we all have our voices heard. And so I ask you today, please vote. Vote like your life depends upon it, because it does. And vote like the monsoons might open up, because they might. And vote like your neighbor needs you to vote. Vote like your neighbor and your family are the ones that are going to benefit when our communities are stronger. And our communities are stronger when we support each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. King. All right, our next speaker likes to spend her free time giving back to FAMU, where she is an English instructor, the city of Tallahassee, and the youth across America. I give you Nandi Riley, FAMU English instructor, UFF FAMU union sister, and FPA secretary treasurer.
Good afternoon. It's nice and wet here. I am, as he said, an English teacher. I started this semester at FAMU in the classroom teaching face-to-face. Why? Because our governor, who is supportive of our current administration, thought it was a great idea for us to be in the classroom teaching face-to-face. Instead of supporting the science that said we need to be sheltering in place. And so our current statewide SUS system is now also supporting moving back to at least 50% face-to-face courses being taught in the spring semester. And we all know that science does not support that at all. So I'm asking you to vote. I'm asking you to vote like your life depends on it.
Thank you very much, Nandi. Great job. All right, the next speaker is Vice President of the Florida Education Association, Carol
Goronskis.
Goronskis, thank you. Carol's great. She's actually the first educational support professional to be an officer at FEA. And also, before becoming an educational support professional, she left a career in banking, right? This is what teachers are. Teachers and educators are people who sacrifice a much lucrative career to give back to their communities. And Carol exemplifies that. So thank you very much, Carol. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here. And as he said, I'm an education staff professional of 18 years. And I tell you what, I didn't make $15 an hour for the first 10 years of my job in a classroom with special needs. So I'm asking for your support, the support for Amendment 2. The minimum wage, $15, it's a living wage for the people in the classroom, our custodians, our food service workers, our paraprofessionals, our bus drivers. We're working 2 and 3 jobs. I know I did when I was in the classroom. We need to get this passed. So please, please support Amendment 2, the $15 minimum wage. By 2026, everyone in this state should be living and working on a living wage. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carol. All right, our next speaker is a tireless fighter for Florida's children, Florida's teachers, as well as the entire working class of Florida through his service to the AFL-CIO. I give you former band teacher and new FEA, Florida Education Association President, Andy Spar.
Hey, Good afternoon, everyone. This is the one time when my hairstyle works really well. So of course, the most important thing we can do in the rain, in the snow, in the sleet, in the ice, in the middle of the thunderstorms is go vote. It is the best way to exercise our voice. It is the best way to make sure that people hear us. It is the best way to make sure that we have people in office, policymakers, who will act and do in the best interest of the working people of Florida, the students at our colleges and universities, our grad assistants, our professors, our K-12 teachers and students, our pre-K through 12 teachers and students. It's all about making sure that we have the right people in office. It doesn't matter about party. It doesn't matter about where they come from. It matters about people who want to make a difference for our students, for our future, for our communities, and for our families, and bring us together. And I will end there in the rain.
Thank you very much, Andy. All right, our next and final speaker is the former Florida Education Association president and current AFT secretary-treasurer, one of the most effective advocates for Florida's children and Florida's teachers. This is the man who, under his leadership, finally brought back wraparound services to our schools. As somebody who used to be very poor from the trailer park and had to use those services, thank you very much. Bet Ingram.
Alachua County, Gainesville. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is good to be home in the Sunshine State with my umbrella. Yeah, it is good to be home. This is what you give me, Andrew. I appreciate that. Thank you, Florida Education Association. Listen, you guys are fantastic. First of all, let me give a big shout out to the graduate assistants. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. You all go through a lot. And we know that you are the future scientists. You are the future CEOs. You're the academicians that we need. And it is unfortunate that we have colleges and universities that put you in peril, that put our brain trust in peril, that give of yourselves selflessly to go back to school and go back to school again and then go back to school again, and then you cannot make a living wage. You cannot make it through the day. You cannot make it through the week. So I don't want to take that lightly, and I want to say to graduate assistants, to UFF, to all of our faculty that are in our colleges and universities, along with our pre-K-12 teachers, we stand with you, the AFT 1.7 million members. You heard our president, Randy Weingarten, say that we care, we fight, we show up, and on November 3rd, we will vote. Ladies and gentlemen, we have taken this bus that you see behind me from Los Angeles, California, and in 4 days, it'll be in Miami, Florida. We have taken it all across this country in 17 different states. And I want you to know what we have heard from across this country. Andrew, I want you to know what we've heard across this country. We've heard the voices of hope. We've heard the voices that care. We've heard voices that are scared. We've heard voices that are simply wondering what's going to happen on November 4th. And so let me remind you of 2 dates. I want to remind you of November 4th, 2008. If you supported a candidate and you remember what happened in 2008, and then I want you to remember what happened on November 8th, 2016. If you supported a candidate and you woke up one day and you wondered what happened, I'm going to tell you this, that your vote matters, that every single ballot is going to matter. It not only matters, but we're going to have to count every vote. And we know we're in the great state of Florida, where you win elections by one vote, by 1%, by 0.5%, and the entire country, the entire world is looking at the state of Florida to see what is going to happen on November 3rd. So, Florida, if you're listening today, I want you to know that the AFT is here for the next 4 days. We will be in Central Florida on tomorrow. We'll be in South Florida on Saturday and Sunday. But it is up to you to get the vote out. It is up to you not only to vote, to take your friends, to take your colleagues, to insist, to push, to cajole somebody to the polls. We cannot leave one single vote unaccounted for. Every single person is important in this American democracy, and that's what this is about. Some candidates want to talk about Wall Street. Some candidates want to talk about Main Street. All those things are important, but we want to talk about what's happening on your street. It's your children. It's your cousins. It's your sons. It's your grandchildren. It's your great-grandchildren. They're going back to school in peril. We have a governor who has said, damn the torpedoes, send the kids back. No extra resources, no extra supports. And that's the same thing that we have that's going on in our federal administration. You have the power to change that because you can vote. Our kids matter. Your kids matter. Our future matters. And so the AFT is here with UFF, with our graduate assistants, with the Florida Education Association, which I am so proud to be a part of. I want you to know that we will be here standing by you in the rain. And if all of these people can come out and listen to us in the rain, you can take 30 minutes or 5 minutes or 15 minutes to go and place your vote. That's what it's about. Thank you all very much on behalf of Randy Weingarten, Evelyn DeJesus, myself, our entire leadership team, and the 1.7 million members from across this country. You all are going to control the American democracy in the next 5 days. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Fed. All right, everyone, let's go vote.